Good evening. Welcome. Come on in. Yes, it is Tuesday again, and we have another few minutes together, and it's time again for ladies. Let's talk about with Tanis Cotto. And I am Tanis Cotto. So we've been doing this for a little bit over a year, and it just gets better and better. Really enjoy talking to you, just spending some time. So today we want to talk about a topic called next. And next is something that I've used for years. I call it the art of next. The art of next is when something doesn't work out for you, what do you do? Do just stop and it's like, oh my God, this thing didn't work out the way that I want to? Yeah, so I'm just going to sit here and I'm not going to move on. It is so important to know what the art of next is. What do you do when plans don't work out the way that they're supposed to? I can tell you, when I was about in my early 20s, I had the opportunity to attend a meeting for a major motivational speaker. This man was one of the top income earners in real estate back in the 80s. And after that career was over, he did motivational speaking. He had a boot camp, a weekend boot camp. And I'm telling you, it was phenomenal. I thank God that I attended that boot camp because what it did was it taught me how to really think. It really helped to shape my mind and how my mind worked and how I saw things, and how I dealt with situations. And this man, his name is Tom Hopkins, and he had something called um, the I never see failure as failure. Well, I tell you, I never see failure as failure is something that from the time that I learned it, like we had to learn it overnight within, a couple of hours because he tested us. We were tested on it. And I thank God for that every day because I believe that it's helped me. It's one of the things that's helped me to deal with disappointments, deal with failures, deal with things that just came up that you weren't expecting, right? And these things happen in life. So the first thing he says is, I never see failure as failure, but as a learning experience. Man, guess what? Whatever happens to you have to be a learning experience. You can't just experience it and then it's like, okay, I didn't learn anything from it, so I go back and I do the same thing that I've done again, and that's one of the things they call insanity. Insanity is doing the same things over and over and over again and expecting different results. We don't want to be insane people. We need to learn from what happened in whatever process or processes that you have, and then how do I correct it? This is what scientists do when they perform experiments, and that's why they perform experiments. They have to see how this thing worked along in the process, if there are any glitches, why did it happen, when did it happen, and how can we fix it. So it is so imperative that we learn how to do that. The second thing he says is, I never see failure as failure, but as negative feedback. I need to change course in my direction. Listen, stuff happens. Stuff happens all the time. Stuff happens when we don't expect it to happen, right? And negative feedback, yeah, sometimes when you get the message, it hurts. It probably hits you in your belly and you have a lot of pain, but it's okay. It's the feedback I need to change course in my direction. Sometimes we think that we're doing something and we're doing it the way that we need to do it, and it's just not good enough. Or you listen, you're what you're doing, you just need to stop and you need to evaluate so that you can go in the right direction. And that's what happens when stuff comes in the middle. We get messed up, and then we're sitting there like, okay, what did I do wrong? You didn't do anything wrong. You just need to grow and to learn. The third thing he says, I never see failure as failure, but as an opportunity to develop my sense of humor. Man, you gotta learn how to laugh. I tell you, laughing is so good. It will help to bless you. Sometimes adverse situations happen to us, and it is so tragic sometimes to the point that you just gotta laugh about it, especially if you can't do anything to change it. If you can't go back, you can't go back in history and change what's happened in the past, but you surely can affect your future. And you can work on what you're doing in your present so that you do not experience what you did in the past. I tell you, look, I've been fired from jobs. I remember I was fired from a job. A guy, he was trying to sexually harass me in the office. I was, young 20s, and I wasn't even thinking about it. And because I wouldn't adhere to his advances, he got upset. And one afternoon, he was asking me about something, and I told him like I didn't know anything about it. He picked up a book and he threw it at me. He was like, "This is what I'm talking about," and he missed me by this much. Man, I picked up that book. You talk about action reaction. I threw that book back at him and hit him in his back. Okay, this was like Wednesday. By Friday, I got a pink slip at 3 o'clock. And let me tell you, I wasn't upset that I was fired. It was okay because it was a horrible environment. I was working there. Sometimes we work in places, we just try to make the money, but we know that we really hate being there. I was okay about them firing me, but what I was upset about is I wish they fired me like 9 o'clock in the morning because it was such a beautiful day. I could have been out in the city enjoying myself instead of staying there till 3 o'clock and getting that news. And I tell you, I walked out like George Jefferson with my hair, just walking out like that. Hey, I didn't have a job. That was okay. I was at a place that I didn't need to be, a place where I was really miserable, and they did a favor for me. And I left. Guess what? I got a better job at a bigger company, bigger perks, more money, all those things. Man, you just have to laugh sometimes at these things that happen. It really helps you to get back to the place that you need to be. Number 4 says, I never see failure as failure, but as an opportunity to practice my technique and perfect my performance. Sometimes we need to get our stuff tight. We need to practice unto perfection. Sometimes the first thing that you did, the first way that you did it might not be the best way to do it. And if you just keep on practicing, I don't mean like, keep on slamming into a brick wall or anything like that and practicing like getting banged up. But, there are things that we do that we need to really get it just the right way. And if we keep on practicing, guess what? We find better methods, better techniques, better ways to do it. It becomes more efficient. But, if you don't succeed at it the first time, man, next, what can I do? Look around and see what you could do so that you can get this thing working much better than it was ever working before. And the last one, it says, I never see failure as failure, but as a game I must play to win. Look, life is a game, and it's a game that we really need to play to win. We gotta play to win life. Life is not easy, and we're gonna have tough days. We're gonna have tough years. This has been a really tough year, but you have to have the mental toughness. You have to have a resilience to be able to endure what is happening. Even in this year, I was listening to a report yesterday, and it says, they talk about the amount of people that died from COVID. Listen, not all the numbers are correct. What they fail to tell you is there are people who died as a result of COVID because life became too hard for them and they committed suicide. And let me tell you, that's someone who got to a point and they didn't know what their next was. Our next means that we have to get mentally tough. I thank God that Tom Hopkins I did that boot camp, paid my $199, and went to Pennsylvania, in the middle of Pennsylvania that I never heard about, to be locked in for an entire weekend to go through this boot camp. Because I'm sure there are things that happened to me that made me feel like I wanted to give up, not commit suicide. I can tell you, I've never gotten to that point, but there were things that were really, really tough for me. Sometimes it made me feel like I wanted to run away. I just wanted to just change my location. Still in the land of the living, of course, but I had to see it and tell myself, man, I never see failure as failure. I know those things back to front. I never see failure as failure. It's just five. I never see failure as failure. And then guess what? I have to just laugh about it because that's what happens with life. Stuff happens. Some of the stuff, they're not pleasant. It's really challenging when you're in the midst of it. But if you live long enough, if you allow yourself that mental toughness to say, okay, this has happened to me, I'm not staying here. What is next? What can I do next? And sometimes when stuff happens, maybe you just need to sit still for a moment and really meditate about what is happening. Do the process why it's happening and how you can prevent it from happening again. You know, the ones that really win this race of life is someone that has support system. I pray that you do have a support system, someone that can help you, someone that you can turn to, but we don't always have that when we need it. Some of us, we just don't. If you're in a situation where, listen, you don't have someone that you can talk to, man, start reading some books. Start drawing on, I've been watching uplifting videos, people's testimonials that really help me because, they might have been in a worse situation than I have been, and then they've gotten out of it. So it gives me hope. These things bring hope to someone that might feel hopeless. Listen, as long as you have life, you have hope. But when you're dead, there's nothing else to look forward to, of course. So, man, learn and master the art of next. What is next? What can I do next? Listen, if you can't even see past it, I look towards, I'm looking forward to going here to visit this place. I look at places and look at places that I've never been and what it's like and what's the culture like and the food and what am I going to order when I get there? And it gives me something to look forward to. What is it that I'd like to do if I had the opportunity to do it? Sometimes dreaming is good because it helps to push you over the hump. Whatever coping mechanism that you have, listen, get something in place. Do not get stuck where you are. Master the art of next. Next. What is next? And move on. That also works for relationships. Listen, I've dumped and moved on, and glory be to Jesus. God got me to the place where I needed to be, have an awesome husband. So all those tears that I cried and those disappointments that I felt and the broken heart and stuff, look at it now. I'm laughing. I have such a wonderful sense of humor. Listen, you can do it too. God loves you. You are awesome. You are the best thing that he's ever created because he's created you in his own image. Listen, guys, we can do it. You are special. You are awesome today. Please remember to like, tag, and share. Send this to someone that can help. It can help. Believe me, I'm sure it can help with quite a few people. And give me nice feedback. Let me know how I'm doing and if this is it's helpful to you. And we will get together again in 2 weeks. I'll be back before you at 6:30 on a Tuesday evening for Ladies Let's Talk About with Tana Scotto. Bye.